all cities. If you live in this area, it's time to get into your safe spot, away from windows. The most interior room of the house or the lowest room of the house is where you need to be as this storm system rolls through. Again, for those of you who go to UGA, for those of you who are at school in Athens, this is just to the north of you, but you are still included in this tornado warning. You definitely still need to be inside in your safe spot, but it does look like the center of rotation is just slightly to the north of the UGA campus and of downtown Athens, okay? So once again, tornado warning. There's two separate tornado warnings. It looks like we could, Fred, tell me if you see the same thing. I see a couplet right here, and then I see another couplet right here. So we possibly could have two different tornadoes on the ground, which is why the National Weather Service has issued two separate tornado warnings.
Yeah, as I look at that, it might just be that the initial tornado warning came in a little bit south of where the storm is now tracking.
Right.
That is interesting to note, though, back around Highway 441. So we'll keep an eye on that south of Nicholson. But this is, as you can see, heading for Highway 29, going through Nice right now and moving off to the east at about 35 miles per hour. This is radar indicated at this point. No confirmation that there is a tornado on the ground, but this is that same line that did produce a tornado on the west side of Atlanta earlier, and now as it's moved to the east, this is the type of setup that we have. We said that it may once again produce a tornado, and it is at least a radar indicated situation right now. We'll zoom in a little bit closer here. You can see that this is north of Athens, but in Athens at the UGA campus, you will be getting a very heavy thunderstorm moving in from the west. You can see, let me just back out the radar just a little bit here so that you can see it a little bit better. You're right on the edge of the tornado warning, but it is the newest tornado warning that is mainly for Madison County that we are most concerned about. So right in the Danielsville Highway 29 area, that's where the worst part of this cell is heading right now, moving to the east at 35 miles per hour. So when we track it out, let you know where it's going to be in the next, say, 15 to 30 minutes. It's in Ross at about 1:12 this afternoon. So that is just 20 minutes from now as it continues moving off to the east. And looking at that rotation, Ella, it's still there on the radar right now.
It looks to me like it's even getting stronger now as it pushes into Madison County. Can we query this and see kind of what velocity we're working with just to the north of Hull? Because this very light pink here and this very light green indicates to me some very strong winds. And again, 65 mile per hour winds. So that's severe thunderstorm winds.
So,
okay.
And the other thing to keep in mind is that this is farther away from the actual radar, so a little bit higher up in the atmosphere. The way the beam extends out, it does get higher up into the atmosphere. This is using the radar that is in Peachtree City, so it is a good distance away from that. So we are sampling winds that are a little bit higher up in the sky than, say, what we were sampling earlier with the storm that was on the west side of Atlanta. But still, Ella, we are picking up on that rotation pretty well defined right now as this goes through the western part of Madison County.
So the reason that that's important is, think about this. Think about as the winds, as your radar beam goes up into the storm, right? It's going into higher elevations in the storm, into higher elevations of the atmosphere where the winds are stronger, right? So this may not be on the ground. This may be the winds, 1,000, possibly even 2,000 feet in the atmosphere. So the closer that the radar is to the storm, the more data that we have. Because the radar is in Peachtree City, which is south of Metro Atlanta, this is, 70, 80 miles away from that radar location. Because of that, it's harder to tell if there is a tornado on the ground. Still very strong rotation within that storm system. And you can even see a little bit of an inflow notch. If we could pause this radar, I can explain to you what this is. If you guys will bring me back on screen. What we look for is a little bit of a hook within these storms when we're searching for a tornado signature. So one of the things that we look for is the storm relative velocity. We just showed that to you, the green and the red couplet. But also an inflow notch. If you guys could bring me up on screen so I can point this out to you, that would be great. Moving right into Danielsville right now. If you live in Danielsville, you see that little notch right there that's moving right into your area? Looks like a very thin gradient between the green and the red. That's looks like a little bit of a couplet. That could be where the tornado is located, either there or just south of there in Madison County. So again, Madison County, you definitely need to be indoors in your safe spot. This potential tornado is moving east at about 35 miles per hour. It's going to cross State Route 29 here very shortly. It is to the north of Athens, Clark County. For all of you who go to the University of Georgia, I'm sure that you got a little notification on your phone that there is a tornado warning for your area. This tornado, or in this situation, it's just to the north of you. You're still under a severe thunderstorm warning in Athens, Clark County. There's still a strong thunderstorm moving through. If we could zoom out just a little bit, Fred, so I can show where Athens is located. It's about 10 miles to the south of this location, maybe even 15 miles to the south of this location. Here's Athens right here, and here's the couplet we're talking about. So Athens, you definitely still need to be in your safe spot, but the potential tornado is to the north of you, now moving into Madison County. And again, as it moves east, this couplet's getting stronger. You see how these winds are now orange? That's very strong wind. I would not be surprised if there is a tornado somewhere on the ground in Madison County. Again, 11 miles away from Athens. That is the good news for all of you who are at the University of Georgia. There is not the tornado in your area. It is to the north of you, or potentially on the ground to the north of you. Very tight couplet now. Again, this is up in the storm, like Fred said, because we are far from the radar here in Madison County, but still, this kind of signature indicates to me that there's very strong winds at the surface. And that tornado warning extends until 1:15 p.m. So that is for the next 20 minutes, including Danielsville, including Comer area as well, eventually even Bowman area, and then eventually it will cross into South Carolina. But right now it is in East Georgia. The good news is Metro Atlanta, you are in the clear. This storm itself is to the east of you. We're still seeing widespread scattered storms across Metro, but the tornado warning is to the east. But look at this. This is what we're going to be dealing with all afternoon, guys. We are under a tornado watch until 4 p.m. Rounds of very heavy rain, lightning as well, moving through Metro Atlanta, heavy downpours, and we in Fulton County are even under a flash flood warning now because we've gotten so much rain. We're going to continue to see rounds of rain, and here's a look. Look how huge this flash flood warning is. This includes Gwinnett County. This includes DeKalb County, Fulton County, Douglas County. So all of Metro, all the way over to Heard County, Paulding County as well, and Carroll County. Flash flood warning in effect because of the heavy rain that moved through. So pooling on the sides of the roads is very likely. We could see flooding of small creeks and streams. It's a good idea if you can this afternoon stay off the roadways, do so, because we're going to potentially see another round of storms through the afternoon and even through the evening. And it looks like some of the heaviest of it is now moving out of Cobb County into North Fulton County. Marietta getting absolutely soaked, Kennesaw and Woodstock as well. And then it does look like some pretty gusty winds. Wouldn't be surprised if this gets warned as a severe thunderstorm warning, now moving right through Roswell, Alpharetta as well. And again, we are under that tornado warning in Madison County for the next 15 minutes. The National Weather Service has indicated rotation, and you can see that rotation here. It's moving east at about 35 miles per hour. Athens, Clark County, you are to the south of this warning. That is the good news. There's still a severe thunderstorm moving through Athens, Clark County, but the actual rotation is out of your area. It's to the north. Again, Madison County, if you live in the southern half of Madison County, you need to be in your safe spot. Comer, you need to activate your safety plan. This rotation is headed directly for you, okay? Interior room of your house, away from the windows, and you can hear the thunder here at our station. I mean, it's all over Metro right now. Lightning, hail, gusty winds, and potential tornadoes. Those are all going to be threats through the afternoon. And again, that storm system has a history of producing a tornado. We saw an actual tornado touch down in southwest Atlanta from the same exact storm cell about 2-3 hours ago. Looking at our current storm winds here in the city, there's definitely some bouts of heavier wind, but maybe not enough 60-mile-per-hour winds for a severe thunderstorm warning. But again, very gusty winds in these storms, lots of lightning, and we are under a flash flood warning again for the next 3 or 4 hours as rounds of rain push through. The reason that we are on air right now, keeping you updated, is because of the tornado warning in our DMA. This is moving to the east, so it's moving through Madison County now, and it will be in effect at least for the next 15 minutes. Fred, talk to me about what you're seeing.
Well, we definitely have what we call training thunderstorms coming through right now. So yes, we've let everyone know about that tornado warning in Madison County. Definitely want to seek shelter. If you know anybody out there, let them know what is coming their way. But we have, as you mentioned, Ella, numerous times, we have this flash flood warning, which is in effect. We've had inches of rain already in some places. Powder Springs area has seen 2.5, 3 inches of rain so far. We have some very heavy thunderstorms right now coming through the metro. Pouring rain from Marietta. Heavy thunderstorm coming through Alpharetta, through Sandy Springs right now. Doraville about to get hit hard. Also down near the airport about to get hit by another heavy thunderstorm coming through. And a little bit farther to the south, keeping an eye on this one down near Griffin that's heading into the southern part of Henry County. This one has a ton of lightning with it and some very heavy rain. So Locust Grove, Jackson area, crossing I-75 and racing off to the east. We'll watch this. We'll watch the velocity, the wind speed on that cell as well to see if there's any increase in wind speed or increase in rotation. But the main event and the reason that we are on the air with you right now is for this tornado warned storm, which is crossing Highway 29, Danielsville in Madison County and moving off to the east. I want to go back here to show you the velocity and show you that signature that we look for, where you get the two different colors, the two different wind directions very close together. And that is now just to the west of Comer. And this is all moving to the east at about 35 miles per hour. So this will get out of our viewing area in about the next 15 minutes. And that's how long the tornado warning is in effect until 1:15 this afternoon. Eventually it gets into Bowman and then into Goss at about 1:30 or so. But this is the same line of storms that produced that tornado west of Atlanta and then produced some wicked thunderstorms moving right on through the city earlier during the late morning hours. But as expected, Ella, we have an extremely active weather day underway, and we are likely to see at a minimum more heavy thunderstorms and some street flooding coming our way this afternoon. But we continue to be on the watch for more tornadoes.
Right. And we are under a tornado watch. This is all of Metro Atlanta, a tornado watch, which means conditions are favorable for tornadoes until 4 p.m. This is a tornado warning. It means we're actually seeing rotation. There could be a tornado on the ground. That is for Madison County for the next 15 minutes. But a tornado watch is out for all of Metro until 4 p.m. You cannot let your guard down. We're likely to see more rounds of these storms today and then again tomorrow. Same thing. Same exact thing as today. Same time frame, early to late afternoon. We're likely to see strong storms with the potential for tornadoes. Here's a look at the storm relative velocity. It still looks pretty strong. There's a pretty big couplet happening. You can see there's two different tornado warnings, partially because it does look like there's a little bit of rotation in the back, and you can see they've now actually cut that tornado warning. So it looks to me like they are indicating there's two different areas of potential rotation. One moving just to the south of Danielsville, including Comer, including Madison County, just to the north of Colbert, and then another one back here, possibly a little bit, but really the entire southern half of Madison County is under this tornado warning. You need to be on high alert. Potentially a tornado on the ground, very gusty winds, small hail, and lots of lightning moving east at about 35 miles per hour. And again, this storm system has a history of producing a tornado. We saw a confirmed tornado on the ground move right by the airport area at about 10:30 to 10:45 a.m. And what Fred said, he said training. It means that these storm systems, they roll over the same areas again and again and again. When we watch a storm cell spawn a tornado, the tornado can lift back up into the storm and then drop back down again, and then lift back up and drop back down. And that's what we're seeing right now. It does look like this storm system has dropped back down some rotation closer to Earth. Whether or not there's a confirmed tornado on the ground, still to be decided. Rodney is watching our storm reports. Rodney, can you tell me anything about this?
Yeah, so there was a report from an emergency manager that they absorbed rotation west of Danielsville, which is where you and Fred have been tracking this. I'm guessing that means they saw a rotating cloud. So that was a report that came in also, Ella, within the past minute or so. They have canceled the tornado warning for Clark, Jackson, Oglethorpe, and now Jackson County. So Clark, Jackson, Oglethorpe no longer under the tornado warning. Madison still under that tornado warning until 1:15. Again, rotation observed by an emergency manager just west of Danielsville.
Just west of Danielsville. So that would be exactly where this rotating system, right where you're looking right now, just to the east of Planter. All right, so if you live in Jackson County, you are now in the clear from this storm system. If you live in Athens, Clarke County, you are now in the clear from this storm system. It is in Madison County, moving east at about 30 miles per hour. Comer, it is headed directly to you. If you live in Comer or you know anyone that does, you need to activate your safety plan. You need to call and check in on them. You need to tell them they're under a tornado warning. Make sure that they are in a safe place, are getting somewhere safe, okay? Again, this storm system, it's a very dangerous system. It produced a tornado about an hour ago, very heavy rain, potentially some small hail, and lightning as well, all going to be threats not only for Madison County, but for all of Metro Atlanta through the afternoon and evening. I'm wondering, Fred, if we could show some Futurecasts to show everyone what they can expect for the rest of the day today, because even after this tornado system moves out, we could see additional tornado warnings through the entire afternoon because we're just in this ripe area, right? There's a lot of energy. When you walked outside this morning, could you feel it? It was humid. It was warm. It felt tropical. That's the energy that's helping spark up these strong storms. And that humidity and that energy in the atmosphere is going to be present today, tonight, and tomorrow. So we're going to see the threat for these storms last over the next 36 hours. The good news is we'll see them last until around 7 p.m. today. And then while it's dark outside tonight, we'll get a bit of a break. Okay, you can sleep easy tonight, but as soon as you wake up tomorrow, we're likely to see another round of storms form. Here's a look at the high-res model. Again, this is a very accurate model taking you hour by hour. By 5 p.m., again, another round of these storms. It does look like they could continue until around sunset. Then we dry out overnight. That is the good news. You can rest easy. But by the time you wake up tomorrow, you get your day started, again, right around the time that they sparked up today, mid-morning to early afternoon, another line of strong to severe storms likely to form by 5 p.m., widespread rain, and then it's just going to be really rainy tomorrow night. So in addition to all of the severe indices, we're likely to see flash flooding as well, with anywhere from 2 to 3 inches of rain likely over the next 36 hours. So you've got to have your guard up again over the course of the next day and a half. But again, tornado watch out for all of Metro Atlanta. This does not include the mountains. This actually doesn't even include Gainesville and Hall County, but all of the metro counties and areas south down towards central Georgia are under a tornado watch until 4 p.m., which means conditions are favorable for a tornado. We could see additional tornadoes through the afternoon. Now, in terms of the tornado warning, if we could go back and talk about that really quickly, it is going to expire here in 8 minutes.
We're going to have to switch on over, unfortunately, to Max 1 because I'm having an issue right now with Max 2. So we'll go back over to Max 1 and we'll bring that up for you just a second here.
Here's the tornado watch that I'm talking about. Again, this just means that conditions are favorable for tornadoes through the afternoon. This includes areas of Cherokee County, Forsyth County, all of Metro Atlanta, West Georgia, East Georgia as well, down towards central Georgia. So the storms right now, they could continue to spark tornadoes through the afternoon and into the evening. The National Weather Service thinks that conditions are the most favorable between now and 4 p.m. for additional tornadoes. So once again, there is a tornado warning in effect just for the next 5 or 6 minutes for Oglethorpe and Madison counties. Mostly Madison County here. It is now expired for Jackson and Clarke County. But again, Comer area, if there is a tornado on the ground, you see that orange, that is very strong winds moving away from the radar. So if there is a tornado on the ground, it is right over you regardless. This is very strong winds. This is going to bring down trees. This could possibly even cause damage to cars. And we could even see power outages in the Comer area. Again, now to the east of Danielsville, moving east at about 35 miles per hour. So it is going to move out of our viewing area here shortly. But again, very strong winds at the surface in the southern half of Madison County. Let's track this for you one more time. Moving into Ross. Right about now, if you're in Ross, you definitely need to be indoors. It moves into the Match area at 1:18 and the Elberton area around 1:29 p.m. Guys, talk to me about what you're seeing with the storm system.
Well, for one, Ella, it is moving east, and as you can see on we have our velocity mode on that Ella's been describing to you. It's starting to move out of the velocity range, as Fred mentioned earlier. This is also a little bit higher up than what we were seeing earlier today. We're going to switch back over to what you were used to seeing on the CBS 46 pinpoint radar. And if anything, some very heavy rain continues to fall just east of Danielsville. That's going to continue to move toward the east at about 35, 40 miles per hour. Also seeing some lightning in the area. The good news, as Ella mentioned, Danielsville, you are now west of where this rotation was. So the threat for you in Danielsville is starting to end and increase as you go further east through Madison County. But for Danielsville, you can see where that red is just east of Danielsville, indicating that the heaviest rain has now moved past you. And as we switch back over to our storm winds, you can also see where that rotation is now moving into the east Danielsville area. So over the next 5 minutes or so, as this continues to move toward the east at about 35 to 40 miles per hour, the threat will slowly start to diminish for Danielsville, but it is still there. Ella, Fred, we have a new damage report that is just in as well. Some reports of trees down along the highway in the Douglas County area. That was from the earlier tornado warning that we were tracking earlier today.
Yeah, that was the one that was certainly confirmed tornado west side of town, and now we have one that's in the far eastern part of our viewing area, and that is what we're watching right now east of Danielsville, about to move out of Madison County in about the next 5 to 10 minutes as this moves to the east at about 35 miles per hour. Closer to home, we have one other severe thunderstorm warning, actually, Rodney, that's down around Griffin right now, and that is moving off to the east. I was showing you that earlier. There was so much lightning with it, showing the potential for some stronger winds in it, and now, as you can see, several counties are under a severe thunderstorm warning.
Yeah, Butts County, this is going to move. This is in your area right now. So Jackson area, you're seeing a heck of a lot of lightning. This is the lightning just over the last 10 minutes. To me, it looks like over 100 lightning strikes, and that's really a measure of the energy within a storm. So again, this is about an hour to an hour and 10 minutes south of downtown, south of Henry County. This is Butts County, so this is down towards central Georgia. A severe thunderstorm warning, 60-mile-per-hour winds, potentially some small hail, moving east at about 30 to 35 miles per hour. That puts it in the Jackson area right now. It's moving into the Jackson area, and if it holds together Monticello, it will be in your area at 1:35 p.m. Again, any of these storms have the potential to spawn tornadoes. So if you live in this area, you definitely need to be on high alert. Even though there's not a tornado within this storm now, at any point there could be rotation within these storms. So again, this is moving through Butts County. It's going to move into Putnam and eventually Jasper County as well. Looking at the storm, this is a cross section of the storm. So we look at this to help us indicate how high up the storm goes and the potential for hail. The higher up that the storm goes, the colder the cloud tops are and the more likely you are to have hail. So what happens is you get evaporation. So these raindrops form down around 10,000 feet, right? Let's do a cross track again. Okay, right? So that's where all the lightning is. That's where all the energy is. As the updraft in the storm, so the winds coming into the storm, they can carry these raindrops higher up to 20 and 30 and even 40,000 feet. And that's where it's cold enough that the raindrops freeze. They freeze into hail. They fall back down, right? Because they're heavy, they're ice. And then they get another coat of rain and the updraft carries them back up into the storm. That's how we can get these really large hailstones, depending on how strong the updraft or the winds going into the storm is. These hailstones can form into huge hail balls, and that's just an indicator of how much energy a storm has. Right now, it looks like the cloud tops are somewhere around 30,000 feet, which to me indicates they're not quite high enough to have severe hail, quarter-sized hail, but definitely the potential for pea-sized, maybe penny-sized hail in this storm, once again moving through Butts County. And also a lot of lightning in this storm right over the Jackson area as well.
Yeah,
you didn't know you were going to get a science lesson, did you?
Yeah, you mentioned the heights. Normally, we get these heights up to 40, 50,000 feet, especially as we get into the summertime. Super severe storms up to 60,000 feet. So one thing that you're seeing in this particular severe thunderstorm is the heights are pretty low compared to what we typically see, for those severe thunderstorms. In other words, if you were to get into an airplane and fly into this, once you got to your cruising altitude, you'd actually be above this storm.
You would. You'd be right at or above the storm. You know, when you're looking out the airplane window and you can see just some of those really high cumulonimbus clouds, this storm cell would still be below you, which indicates to us, again, it's a strong storm, but likely to not have severe hail within it, and potentially probably not going to have severe hail unless it continues to gain strength. A lot of lightning in it though, and a heck of a lot of rain as well, moving east at about 30 miles per hour. So that's going to put it in the Putnam County area, potentially the Jasper County area as well. And again, looking at the storm system as well, I am seeing this
a little bit of rotation in there. Yeah.
You seen a little rotation?
A little bit, yeah, a little bit.
A little tiny bit of rotation. This could also be a downburst where the winds are going every which way out of the storm, but definitely some strong winds here just in the southern Butts County area with a lot of lightning as well. Again, severe thunderstorm warning out for this area. Rodney, when does this severe thunderstorm
The severe
expire?
thunderstorm warning that we are looking at right now, as we look at that, first of all, I want to say that the National Weather Service is actually considering a tornado warning for this. So just a heads up, Butts County, there is no tornado warning yet, but they are considering a tornado warning. I'm going to do a query to see when
It
this
expires at 1:45.
1:45.
Yeah, 1:45. Estimate of about 50-mile-per-hour winds in Spalding County as this came on through. So those are those strong winds that we're seeing right now. It's just covered up by the county list there. But the wind potential with this is in the 60-mile-per-hour range. Weather Service is watching, as we are, that rotation on the southern side of it, kind of in very southern Butts County, showing up right along the border with Monroe County. And if that tightens up a little bit, then we may end up with a tornado warning out of this. It is racing off to the east here, as all the storms have been all day today. So that's what we were watching for, these eastward moving storms to kind of get some rotation going. And it can happen very quickly, as we saw earlier with the tornado warned storm that came right on through the western part of Atlanta. So this is the one we're watching. We also have an actual tornado warning, which is still in effect. Actually, it was in effect till 1:15. So let's see what's going on.
That has expired or been allowed to cancel, one or the other?
Yeah, they have allowed that to expire in Madison County. That is the good news there. So we no longer have any tornado warnings currently in our area, but we are all under a tornado watch. And what we've been talking about is the fact that these storms at any moment can spawn tornadoes because the atmosphere is just ripe for them. So we're going to continue to watch this severe thunderstorm down in Butts County. It is moving towards the Eatonton area. It's moving towards Putnam County and Jasper County. It will move into Jasper County here pretty shortly, and we are seeing some slight rotation within this cell. So we're going to watch the National Weather Service to see if they may warn this as a tornado warning. I'm not seeing a defined couplet. Rodney, can you take off the lightning tracker on here so we can see? Okay, there's a little inflow notch. Yep. Okay. Yeah, here it is. If there were to be a tornado, this is one of the things we look for, like a hook. It's called a hook. And here you can see right here, it's the winds going up and getting sucked into the storm. And that would be where the tornado is located. And we're starting to see a little bit of a tornado signature here with that little couplet. And again, the rotation, the winds going away and towards the radar, it's very weak, but it is getting stronger. Again, this is in southern Butts County. Weak rotation and a little bit of an inflow notch. The National Weather Service is watching whether or not they're going to warn this. So if you live in Butts County, you need to put your safety plan in place. Better safe than sorry. If you live in Jasper County, this is headed towards you. You need to put your safety plan in place. And this eventually, this storm system itself will cross over Lake Oconee and the Eatonton area as well in the next hour or so. So if you live in that area, you need to be on high alert and continue to watch this storm system. Again, severe thunderstorm warning until 1:30. Is it 1:45?
1:45. In fact, that warning,
so
Ella,
they just. This is going to go for the next 30 minutes that they think the severe thunderstorm is going to be in effect, but there's the potential that they're going to warn this as a tornado. Again, southern Butts County. This is about an hour and 10 minutes south of Atlanta itself. So this is very close to central Georgia. It's closer actually to Macon than it is to Atlanta. But if you live in this area, you definitely need to be aware that this is a very strong storm system pushing through your area.
And that's a big severe thunderstorm warning. It's actually in effect for multiple counties. So Butts, Jasper, Lamar, Monroe, and Spalding counties all under that severe thunderstorm warning until 1:45.
And a brand new severe thunderstorm warning to the east. Athens right now is under a severe thunderstorm warning. for the cell that is moving through that area right now. So multiple now severe thunderstorm warnings. You can see it right over Athens, getting pounded with some very heavy rain right now, and also seeing the potential for some strong winds. So the potential exists with that cell coming through Athens and moving off to the east-northeast toward Hull and then eventually Colbert. That has the potential for 60-mile-per-hour winds. And you can see our times there, about 1:30 getting into Colbert, Comer around 1:38. So you're getting a storm right now in Comer. You have another one that's heading in your direction. Looks like the potential exists for some strong straight line winds with that. We'll watch to see if there's any circulation that develops, rotation, I should say, with that cell as it comes through Athens and through Clark County right now. So very, very active scene. Also watching that bigger, Rodney, severe thunderstorm warning, which is south of Atlanta. And in the Atlanta metro area in general, we have some very heavy thunderstorms that are rumbling right on through.
Yeah, we could hear the thunderstorms, Ella Fred. We could hear the thunder that is moving through Atlanta. And Atlanta under a flash flood warning, but currently not under a severe thunderstorm warning. But if you were in DeKalb County, for those of you in Decatur, Stone Mountain, Tucker, we had it earlier this morning. You're about to get it again, even though you're not under a severe thunderstorm warning. Very heavy rain moving out of Atlanta and starting to move into DeKalb County.
And this is all due to a cold front that is well to our west. If we could, guys, zoom out and show kind of a big picture of what's going on. There's two separate systems working their way through. A warm front already lifted through. Remember how warm it was yesterday, right? It's the energy that's helping spark up these thunderstorms. And a cold front is located way over in the Mississippi Valley. It is moving very slowly until that cold front moves through our area. We're going to be in a very unstable air mass. So we're going to see rounds of storms and potentially severe weather, not only today, but tomorrow as well. And you can see it on our current radar map. It is all across the south today. There's no real organization to these storms. There's no real defined line. Here in North Georgia, we actually are getting the worst of it and have been all day. Very heavy rain has been falling on and off since the time you woke up this morning, and that's likely to continue over the next 3 to even 4 hours. So again, this is why we're staying on air right now. We're watching this severe thunderstorm down in Butts County. This is headed towards Jasper County. This is just the very southern edge of Spalding County as well. There's the potential that they're going to warn this as a tornado. We're seeing some rotation within it. Looking at it now, it does look like it's weakening slightly. Still a tiny little couplet right here. Just about 5 miles to the south of Jackson, going to cross State Route 23. Not strong enough for a tornado warning yet, but we're watching the potential that it could strengthen. It could spawn a tornado again. And there's a little inflow notch right there. Rodney, can we move back in just to the south of, this is a classic tornado signature when you start to see it's very, very small. But this looks to me like a little bit of an inflow notch, a little bit of a hook echo that we look for when we're looking for tornadoes. And that's exactly where it is, just to the south of Flovilla area, just to the west of Cork, headed towards Cork and Flovilla. So if you live in those areas, you definitely need to head indoors. This is going to push into Jasper County pretty shortly, the Monticello area as well. Yeah, and looking at this whole storm structure in itself, this does look, has a supercell structure. It does look like a classic supercell. It's starting to organize itself a little bit more with that hook echo. So definitely has the look of a tornadic storm, which is why we're staying on air to keep you safe. We're just watching the potential that this could spawn a tornado as it pushes east. Again, severe thunderstorm warning in effect for the next 20 minutes for this area. Gusty winds and a lot of lightning in the area as well, guys.
Yeah, go ahead, Fred.
Yeah, I just wanted to note that although the circulation is a little bit smaller, it seems to be a little bit tighter too. So that's the other thing that you kind of watch for. Sometimes a broader circulation rotation can become a little bit tighter. And that's what we're finding right now, just to the southwest of Flovilla, heading to the east towards Cork. So this is a dangerous situation for anyone living in that area. You'll want to seek shelter, as we can see now some pretty well-defined rotation showing up there, Rodney, on that on our pinpoint wind tracking.
Yeah, as you mentioned, it got tighter, which is not good. The tighter and even the brighter colors, and Ella and Fred have both pointed this out, but as those colors get brighter, those indicate stronger winds, regardless of whether or not you have a tornado. So that's something that we are watching along with the National Weather Service. For the moment, they have decided to keep this as just a severe thunderstorm warning. We do, though, have a new hail report that just came in. This is out of Spalding County. So that same storm, when it was in Spalding County, produced quarter-sized hail at the intersection of Highway 16 and Walker's Mill Road. So this storm that we're looking at right now has had the potential of producing hail, Ella, Fred.
Yeah, let me see if I can bring up the hail tracker here. Sure, if we can go to max 2 right now, we can see that hail tracker going through and picking up on at least P to dime size, and the report there was quarter size, so it's not always exactly accurate, but it gives you an indication here that this is the only storm so far today where we've had a lot of hail reports coming from it. Most of the storms, even the one that produced the tornado on the west side of Atlanta, did not have any hail with it, but this storm is going a little bit higher. Ella mentioned classic supercell type of structure showing on this storm. You can see what looks like it's trying to develop that hook echo signature, but it's not, thankfully at this point, having a good successful time of doing it, and that's good news. We don't want to see that, definitely, but we are watching that area just to the southwest of Flovilla for some tightening rotation. And of course, so you have torrential rain, you have dozens, hundreds probably of lightning strikes, and now you can see that little bit of rotation in there as well to go with the hail. So that's a nasty storm right now.
It definitely is, and these parts of our state are not highly populated areas. Butts County is not highly populated, but as this crosses into Putnam County, into Jasper County, and heads towards the Monticello area, and then eventually could head towards Lake Oconee and Eatonton area, that's more highly populated areas. And there's a chance that this holds together, but we've also seen these storm systems spawn tornadoes and then lose their rotation and then spawn another tornado. So really, this entire supercell is going to head into Jasper and Putnam County. So if you live in those areas, especially along Lake Oconee, it's still, there we go. It's still about an hour, more than an hour from getting to you, but you need to be on high alert. And now, here we go. The National Weather Service has officially warned this as a tornado warning. We had a feeling that this was going to happen. We've been on air for all morning and all afternoon showing you this and keeping you safe. This is now a tornado warning until 2 p.m. So for the next 33 minutes for Butts County, it's the southeastern half of Butts County moving into Jasper County. And like we've been talking about, you see this little inflow notch right here? That is a classic supercell storm. It looks like it has that classic tornado signature, that inflow notch right here. This is to the north of Blount. This is to the south of Flovilla. This is headed for State Route 23, Sandy and Cork area. This potential tornado is moving into your area. You definitely need to be in your safe spot, away from windows. Again, we saw a confirmed tornado move through highly populated areas of Atlanta earlier on this morning. And so any of these storms can gain strength. We've been watching this one for about the last 30 minutes, and that couplet or that rotating part of the storm has gotten stronger. So again, this is moving east at about 35 miles per hour. It puts it in the Cork area. Right now, it's moving through Cork. It's going to move through Monticello at 1:45 and then Goolsby at 1:50 p.m. If you live in any of these areas, you definitely need to be indoors, again, away from windows. This is in Butts County, southeastern Butts County. We'll cross into Jasper County here very shortly. Fred, I want to give it over to you so you can talk about what the National Weather Service is actually saying about this storm
Sure.
system.
Take a quick peek here, and the radar indicated tornado, potential for 1-inch hail that is moving to the east at about 30 miles per hour. So That is our current tornado warning, watching every cell, though, that is coming through North Georgia this afternoon. So you see that rotation there just west of 23, south of Flavilla, going into Cork right now. This is moving at about 30 miles per hour, so we will track it out, let you know where it's going to be in the next about 15 to 30 minutes here. Moving to the east, Monticello, it's about 147 that it would be getting to you. So this storm has been showing some rotations. It's a radar indicated tornado, so there is no confirmation that this is a tornado that's on the ground, but we've been keeping an eye on it. We've been dissecting the structure of this storm for you for about the last 15-20 minutes, kind of watching the evolution of it and letting you know that it had the potential to produce a tornado. And now, as a result, the National Weather Service has issued a tornado warning until 2 o'clock. So for another half an hour as this storm moves from Butts County into Jasper County to the east at about 30 miles per hour. So several storms right now that we are tracking throughout North Georgia. Chief Meteorologist Jennifer Valdez is now in the building as well. Good afternoon, Jen.
Hey, good afternoon. Yeah, it's been a busy morning, busy afternoon, and this is only the first day. We're going to have this chance of severe weather for the next couple of days, especially today into tomorrow. And of course, right now, watching this tornado warning, we've been watching these closely because they've all had that possibility of rotation. It's very warm. It's very moist. You step outside, you can almost feel the instability. So certainly something we'll be watching as we head through the afternoon to keep you and your family safe. And we will be on the air as long as possible, as long as needed. And it's a good reminder, when you're under a tornado warning, it means a tornado is likely on the ground. Either someone spotted it or on radar, we are seeing rotation and a possible tornado on the ground. So you do need to take cover when you're under a tornado warning. So if you are in this tornado warning right now, if you are in Butts County, if you are just south of Jackson along 23, if you are in the Monticello area, Hillsborough area, you need to get to your safe spot right now because a possible tornado is on the ground. Fred?
Let's continue to watch this one here. It looks like McElhaney's Crossroads. I hope I said that right. That's where this storm is going to be coming through next as that continues to move to the east. Still seeing that rotation. Now, this is not a confirmed tornado, but it is radar indicated. There is enough rotation being shown as this moves through Flovilla right now. This is on the south side, of course, well south of Atlanta, about an hour south of Atlanta, heading eventually for Eatonton if it continues on this same track, which it likely will. Now, whether it continues to maintain the potential for a tornado, that remains to be seen, but it is moving east at about 30 miles per hour. So we are going to track it here and take it out to the east, getting close to Eatonton. Well, you can see that it's in Monticello 145, Willard just after 2 o'clock this afternoon. Again, this tornado warning is in effect until 2 o'clock this afternoon for Butts County and, of course, heading into Jasper County. Right now, the cell is in the southeastern part. The rotation is in the southeastern part of Butts County and moving east at about 30 miles per hour.
Yeah, and we'll stay with you as long as this warning is in effect. So we have about another 28 minutes. And the nice thing about these warnings is they're very specific. You can see in the red box the area that's in the tornado warning. And this is done on purpose because it's not a drill. This is not practice. This is a tornado warning. And they want only those that are going to be impacted to get to their safe spot. So if you are in this red box, possible tornado on the ground, this is radar indicated. And we can see it very easily here. Possible tornado on the ground. Already we've seen tornadoes this morning, West Atlanta. So this is a situation that we're going to be with through the rest of the afternoon, and a very possible tornado here on the ground. If there is a tornado, you're not going to see it. So a lot of people, they don't want to go to their safe spot. They want to keep doing what they're doing, but this is not the kind of situation where you want to do that. You will not see this tornado. We're seeing a tremendous amount of rain. We're talking about blinding rain around this thunderstorm. So even if it was 5 houses away, it would be extremely difficult to see. On top of that, we're seeing lots of lightning. We're seeing gusty winds. It's just a nasty storm all the way around. So get to the lowest level of your home or your basement, away from any windows, and be in your safe spot because a tornado possibly on the ground. At the very minimum, we're seeing blinding rain, lots of lightning, and gusty winds with this storm. So we're watching the rotation. Doesn't look as impressive as it did earlier. Certainly we were seeing that signature of a possible tornado on the ground. We're still seeing some gusty winds, definitely at least in the upper levels of the atmosphere, possibly some rotation, but this is showing signs of weakening. And that's always a good thing. That's what we want to see. We don't want to see that bright red and that bright green right next to each other, hugging each other. That is a bad sign. So weakening happening here, but tornado warning still in place. And as quickly as these tornadoes spin up, they can deteriorate, but they can also re-spin up. So that is why you need to stay alert and weather aware as these systems move on through, especially when they have a history of producing rotation. Certainly could see an additional tornado or see this spin up even further. Still seeing some weak rotation here. Again, this is southern Butts County, and this is moving into Jasper County. A tornado warning in place until 2 o'clock for a possible tornado on the ground. And Fred, you're looking at some of the news from the National Weather Service. This has not been spotted, correct? This is all radar indicated.
Correct. And basically they're reiterating what you've just been saying within the last minute or so, which is that the rotation doesn't look as impressive. So these can pulse up, they can pulse down, they strengthen, they weaken. We saw the tornado in West Atlanta, and then it kind of lifted as it went east of Atlanta, but then that same line produced another tornado warning north of Athens a couple of hours later. So we need to continue to watch these, Jen, as they move off to the east, but the structure of this storm does not look as well defined as it did. The rotation does not look as well defined as it did. Just to widen things out and step away from this for a quick second, well, it looks like this is actually east of our viewing area right now, but there is a new tornado warning. So again, these cells are capable of producing tornadoes throughout all of North Georgia. But you can see that in the Atlanta metro area where so many of our viewers live right now, there is a flash flood warning and a huge one that's in effect for these training thunderstorms that are one after the other and producing tremendously heavy rain. So some spots of the some places in the Atlanta metro area have picked up 2-3 inches of rain already today, and a lot more coming down during the afternoon. But it is this one, Jen, that we're focused on right now, which is this tornado warned storm that is moving out of Butts County and into Jasper County.
Yeah, and you know, we've all saw those storms this morning, especially if you were in the metro area. We have 6-inch gutters on our house, and it was so heavy, the rain, the gutter didn't do anything. I mean, the rain is just coming down in sheets. So now that the soil is saturated, we had all of that rain this morning, we're going to see runoff very quickly. So the soil, the grass, it's already wet. So additional heavy rainfall is going to turn into runoff almost instantly. So we're going to see this happen throughout the afternoon and evening, this flash flooding potential, because we did have such heavy rain this morning and we're not done yet. We're going to see more storms as we head through the afternoon. That's exactly what we're seeing. Right now we are watching that tornado warning. This is far southern portions of our viewing area in Butts and Jasper County. If you're just now joining us, welcome. You're going to see a lot of us through the afternoon and really through the next 48 hours because we do have that threat of storms not only today, but tomorrow as well. And it's this area we're watching right here, right along the Butts-Jasper County line. That's where we have a potential tornado on the ground. We're seeing gusty winds, very, very heavy rain, lots of lightning as well, and a possible tornado. So this is a radar indicated tornado. It means on radar, we are seeing some signs of rotation. And although we are seeing signs of weakening, which is great, again, it can quickly spin up quickly. So we're still going to watch it as long as we're seeing any rotation. We're not going to feel comfortable getting off the air until all of the rotation with this particular storm is out of here. For planning purposes and to know when to get to your safe spot and who's impacted, this is where this storm is going. So it's going to Gladesville at 141, then towards McElhaney's Crossroads at 143, Monticello at 151, Smithborough at 159. And Fred, let's do even better. Let's do the street level mapping. Let's zoom in as tight as we can and see exactly where this is. Because again, we want those who are going to be impacted to get into their safe spot. And if you have friends, if you have family in this area, now's the time to call your friends, call your neighbors, call your family if they live in Butts County, Jasper County, especially if they live around these roads that we're going to show you here. You need to give them a text, give them a call to get to their safe spot. Right now, the tornado, the radar indicated tornado, is very close to McElhaney's Crossroads, near Clay Road, Fredonia, near New Hope Church Road, Clay Road, seeing what else, Smith Mill Road, this is the area where the possible tornado is. So near the McElhaney's Crossroad, Gladesville area, right along the Butts-Jasper County line. And this is moving to the east here. Again, still seeing some rotation, not as impressive as it was, but we're still seeing some signs of rotation here near the Gladesville area heading towards Hillsborough. So again, call your friends, call your family, anyone who may be in this area because of possible tornado on the ground. And earlier today, we had a tornado moving through West Atlanta on the west side of 285. So possibly another one as well. It's very warm. It's very unstable. You step outside, you can feel it. It just feels thick and very unstable. And when it's so humid and it's so warm like that, the environment is ripe for these storms to happen, these severe thunderstorms and these possible tornadoes. So that's exactly what we're seeing. And we do remain under that tornado watch through the afternoon. So we're not out of the woods yet, not even close. So again, tornado warning right now. This is the spot we're watching, McElhaney's Crossroads near Gladesville. This is until 2 o'clock this afternoon, now moving out of Butts County into Jasper County. And it's moving pretty quickly here. Possible tornado. And it also looks like it's intensifying a little further than where it was 5 minutes ago, Fred. And that's what we talk about. We watch it weakens, but just as quickly as it weakens, it can get a little stronger. And it looks a little stronger to me now than it did just 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, it looks like, Jen, at least the front part of it, the rotation doesn't seem to be as significant. If we switch over to Max 2, you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And that's where we see these brighter greens that are showing up here at the front edge of this as we've looped it for you to show you this cell. So there is still a lot of potential for some strong damaging winds with this. Starting to lose a little bit of the back end of that rotation, but it is something to watch here because they come and they go. We call them sometimes spin-up tornadoes, and that's the type of weather setup that we have today, where it is a threat of heavy rain, a threat of a lot of lightning, some straight-line damaging wind, and then some of these spin-up tornadoes. And that is what is right now entering into the western part of Jasper County, and it is going to move through the Monticello area in about the next 15 to 20 minutes. So that is one of the cells that we're tracking. We still have severe thunderstorm, which is showing up, as you can see, in Athens, Clark County right now. That is heading off to the east. A tornado warning farther to the east and outside of our viewing area. And even what's going right now through DeKalb County and Gwinnett County, just to show you this here, where we have a flash flood warning. But what we can notice, Jen, when we look at this velocity, that bright green showing up. Yeah, there's no rotation, but even these cells that are coming through right now could be producing some gusty winds.
And lots of lightning, lots of rain as well. In fact, let's look at the metro area, because I know even coming in through the parking lot here, it was raining very, very heavily, lots of lightning, lots of thunder out there. So yeah, over our area, over the metro area, these are not severe, but we are seeing very heavy rain, tremendous amount of lightning, some gusty winds as well. So you really want to stay off the roads, especially when you're under a flash flood warning and you know that you're not done yet. Additional rain is falling. Right now, the heaviest rain is moving through DeKalb County into Gwinnett County. So DeKalb County, Gwinnett County, northern Clayton County, southeastern portions of Fulton County. That's where we have the heaviest rain right now on the east side of 285, heading towards Stone Mountain, near Mountain Park. And because, as you said, Fred, we had 2 to 3 inches of rain this morning, and now we're getting additional heavy rain in the exact same spots that already had those heavy downpours. So flash flooding is going to be a big concern, especially in the city of Atlanta. We have a lot of concrete in the city, lots and lots of concrete. So, you know, the usual spots, Krog Street Tunnel, I know near Howell Mill North side, we got a lot of flooding as well, especially in some of those low-lying areas. So certainly be aware of that if you do live in a flood-prone area, or maybe on your way home to home or work, or your family from or to where they're needing to go. If they have to drive through a flood-prone area, definitely something you'll need to be aware of as we head into the afternoon, because this is a threat we'll have to continue to watch as we head through the rest of the day, and then tomorrow as well. Tomorrow, those creeks and streams will be even higher. And again, because we already saw so much rain, additional heavy rainfall is going to cause problems pretty quickly. So we'll be watching for that as well. Tornado warning does continue. Again, this is for Butts and Jasper County. We're seeing a ton of lightning with this. We're seeing some gusty winds, heavy rain, and still seeing possible rotation. This is radar detected tornado. Basically, we see the rotation on the radar, and we have to use our devices, our science, and these radars, because that's how we track it, and we know where it's going and that it's formed. This is also producing some pea-sized hail. Thankfully, it's not any bigger than that, but it is producing some hail, some strong gusty winds. It's just a nasty storm right now. Certainly not something you want to be in. So especially now into Jasper County, southwestern portions of Jasper County, the strongest storm now heading in your direction, possible rotation with it as well. And it's not only Fred and I here. We've got Rodney here. He's watching the storm. He is dissecting it, and he's really studying this storm. Rodney, what kind of things are you seeing?
So Jen, I'm looking at the wind in this storm, and as Fred mentioned before, even if whether there's a tornado or not, we're still seeing some pretty strong winds. Most of this storm that we have the tornado warning out for now, which is mostly in Jasper County, seeing winds of about 35 miles per hour on average. Just east of Highway 23 near Cork, the winds came up to about 45 miles per hour at their strongest. As you mentioned, you were talking about how maybe it looked a little bit weaker. The winds have gone down a bit as it's moved into Jasper County. So for South Monticello, you can expect about a 35 to 40 mile per hour wind as this rotation moves over your area. There's also, Jen, a new severe thunderstorm warning in East Georgia for Madison and Oglethorpe County until 2:15.
Okay, so yeah, these warnings are just popping up all over the place. And again, we're just incredibly unstable outside. And when you're that unstable, these storms pop pretty easily. And that's what we're seeing this afternoon. That is why we go into storm mode. And that is why several days out, we tell you there's a level 1 threat, level 2 threat, whatever the threat may be, so that you can prepare ahead of time and know what's coming your way. And whatever we can do to keep you safe, that is what we're going to do. So that is why we are on the air with you right now. We'll continue to be on the air with you for as long as needed to keep you and your family safe. And now it is 1:45. Kids are still in school, but as these storms continue and it starts to be dismissal time, it's something we'll be watching closely as well. I know my kids go to Atlanta public schools. I got texts. They had to do their tornado drill. So I'm sure that's really scary for the little ones. So I'm eager to talk to my kids to see how that went and how it went. They know what mommy does and that I'm always going to keep them safe. So hopefully it wasn't too stressful for all those kids in APS that had to go through that tornado drill earlier this morning. And right now, a tornado drill happening, I'm sure, in the schools in Butts and Jasper County. But you have to do that to stay safe, especially when the kids are not at home and they are at school. So hopefully a tornado drill happening there as well. Possible tornado on the ground right now, very close again to McElhaney's Crossroads near Clay Road. This is where we're seeing that Doppler radar indicated rotation, possible tornado on the ground as this continues to move to the east here. This is in far southern portions of our viewing area. Started off in Butts County. It was originally a severe thunderstorm warning, and Ella was here. Ella and Fred were watching it, and you guys saw rotation, so you stayed on the air, even though it wasn't even officially a tornado warning. We saw rotation, so we stayed on the air. It's important that we do that because we saw a tornado, possible tornado.
Well, that's why we're here, what we're studying, what we're looking at, what we have studied throughout our careers, and we could see the rotation starting to develop with this one. It tightened up to the point where the National Weather Service thought that it warranted a tornado warning. So the best we can do, we can't issue the actual tornado warning, but we can let you know that a storm has the potential to produce a tornado, and that's what we were seeing from this one as it moved off to the east. And now we're seeing that rotation in there. And that is, as you mentioned, Jen, going right through McElhaney's Crossroads, heading to the east. Looks like it's going to go sort of split Monticello and Hillsborough as it moves to the east. But this is still a very impressive looking storm. The tornado warning, by the way, has been clipped a little bit, so it no longer includes any part of Butts County. It is just Jasper County that's under the tornado warning until 2 o'clock this afternoon. But we are still seeing enough radar indication there on the velocity from the pinpoint radar that it warrants that tornado warning. Also want to mention, if you were with us earlier this morning, we were showing you on our debris tracker from the tornado that was in West Atlanta how clear that was. I can tell you that with this particular cell, we are not seeing anything like that. So this may not be a tornado that's on the ground, but you definitely do not want to play games with it. You are under a tornado warning right now in Monticello, in Hillsborough, and a big chunk of Jasper County, southern part of it. And this storm is moving to the east, and that rotation is still clearly visible.
Yeah, and we're seeing some rotation here, whether it's touching the ground, we won't know yet until we start getting damage reports or someone physically sees it. But again, even if it is on the ground, it's going to be rain wrapped. It's going to be very difficult to see. But at the very minimum, we have rotation in the upper levels of the atmosphere. Not a good thing. We don't like that. And very easily that rotation could come down to the ground. So we are watching for that possibility of a tornado on the ground. Could very likely be on the ground. And if not, it's only a matter of time before it is or isn't. So that is why we're going to stay on the air with you as this continues to move. And it's still showing signs of rotation. We've seen it weaken a bit, then re-intensify, then weaken, re-intensify. And we're certainly still just seeing it there. And, when you see the green and the red right next to each other, that is a sign of rotation. You've got winds going away from the radar site and to the radar site right next to each other. So that's exactly what you're seeing, and that is what we look for right here. I know you're used to seeing the rain on radar. That's a little easier to discern and see what you're looking at. Right now, you're wondering why we're looking at this green and red blob, but this helps Fred and I know exactly where the rotation is located. I can show you a big area of rain, but I want to be as specific as possible and let you know where the rotation or possible tornado is on the ground so that you can prepare and be in your safe spot as this moves on through. And as Fred said, it's going right through Monticello and Hillsborough. So just between Monticello and Hillsborough, this is moving through the area near McElhaney's Crossroads. This is in Jasper County, and this continues for another 11 minutes until 2 o'clock. We're going to have to watch here. If this rotation continues, though, I would not be surprised if they extend this into Putnam County. So we'll be watching for the possibility. You're not under a tornado warning yet, but if you are in southwestern Putnam County, this is a storm you'll want to watch very closely, because as this continues to move through, even though we've seen signs of weakening off and on, we're still seeing that rotation on radar. And this is heading towards a Gateville at 155, Smithborough at 208, Aikenton at 216, and Eatonton in Putnam County, that's at 229. Again, if it maintains that rotation heading towards Eatonton, even if it does not, and hopefully it will weaken. That's what we want to happen. We want this to weaken. But even if it does not weaken, at the very minimum in Eatonton, you are going to see very heavy rain, possible hail, and some gusty winds. This is a strong storm moving through. Again, we're keeping our fingers and toes crossed that this weakens, but for now, we are still seeing signs of rotation on the radar here as this storm moves through Jasper County, just south of Monticello, just north of Hillsborough. And while we use all of these machines to really dissect and get a good view of what's going on, we really don't know the magnitude of what this is doing on the ground until we start receiving storm reports. But there's always a little bit of a lag because it has to happen. Someone has to report the damage and so on and so forth. So we're watching for that closely as well. And Fred, have we been getting any storm reports at all with this storm?
I haven't seen many with this. Well, we had a report of an estimated 50-mile-per-hour wind, Jennifer, to the west, back around Griffin, Spalding County area. And there was, of course, the reports of the hail as high as large as quarter size. But that rotation is still there. Still, the Weather Services said they're going to keep the tornado warning up, and it is up for another 9 minutes, so they're not quite ready to just let that expire because of that rotation. We'll see if it's extended farther off to the east. If we go over to Max 2 really quickly, I just want to give you a very quick big picture view of what we're looking at. Look at these temperatures. Low 70s with rain pouring down at Hartsfield Jackson. So it is steamy out there right now. There is a lot of juice in the atmosphere over North Georgia. LaGrange is close to 80 degrees. And we have a little bit cooler air as you go to the north, Canton and Gainesville. But it is that boundary, Jen, between that slightly cooler air and the real tropical air, which is where we set up the railroad tracks where these storms can just continue to move from west to east right across them. And that's what we were expecting today. That's what we're seeing today. And some of the storms, as you go particularly to the south of where that cooler air is, that's where we are seeing those tornadoes spinning up. So that tornado warning still in effect until 2 o'clock this afternoon. And again, right now, coming out of McElhaney's Crossroads into the southern part of Monticello, and still moving to the east. And still, as we go back to that, radar that you're standing in front of right now, you can see that
right here,
that rotation.
It's right here. So this is where a tornado would be on the ground here. Again, just south of Monticello, near a Gateville, near Goolsby, right here, possible rotation. And you can almost visually see it. So again, winds Green is in one direction, red is the other, red is away, green is toward. So if you have winds going this way, it's like, imagine being on an interstate that you're driving on I-75, how you have traffic in one direction and then the other direction is going the other way. That's what's happening with the winds. So you have winds going this way, and they just rotate. So that is why when we see this on radar, this is a big red flag here of rotation and a possible tornado. So this is what we look at very closely. That's why we stay on this, the red and the green. You see that a lot of time during severe weather. On a normal day, when it's raining, we don't show you this, but when we're looking for rotation, this is our best tool. We look at the wind direction and the wind speed to be able to dissect that possible tornado. And again, when you look at it on radar, it looks very different, doesn't it? You just see a whole lot of rain moving through Putnam County into Jasper County. But when you see that rotation there, the storm winds, it makes it a lot easier to see. But again, this is the spot of concern that we're watching very close to East Juliet.
So this is there's
another
two
one.
actually, but
That's another one.
Yeah, I was just bringing that in because I noticed, well, first what I noticed is notice that brownish dot right there on the radar around East Juliet. And that caught my eye, and I said, well, we got to take a look at the velocity down there, and it looks like this is now ramping up in the East Juliet area. And moving also off to the east. So I think there's a possibility, Jen, that we could pick up another tornado warning out of this cell, the southern part of this cell.
Yeah, and if you zoom out just a little bit, Fred, because it is really amazing to see. I mean, you can see it right there's one, and right here is two. So possibly two tornadoes. What's the distance here? I would say maybe 30 miles apart.
Yeah,
you have to measure it.
Let's check it out.
But let's see how. I mean, pretty incredible. Not something you see very often.
Tell you in 1 second.
So Fred's going to measure it here.
And while he does that, eventually
yeah.
we'll get around to this airport camera. But even though we don't have a warning, a severe warning for Atlanta, the airport is getting rocked right now. I'm looking just off screen at this camera, and you can barely see the planes that are moving by at the bottom of the screen. So southwest Atlanta getting some extremely heavy rain, even though they're not under a severe thunderstorm or tornado warning.
Yeah, it's just been that kind of day, Rodney. I mean, driving in this is a nightmare. This is not the kind of day you want to go run errands. You know, if you need to go to the grocery store, try to go tomorrow unless you absolutely have to. You don't want to be out and about in this. Even if you're not under a severe thunderstorm warning or tornado warning right now, you just don't want to be out in this. It's not safe. It's raining. We're under a flash flood warning. We're going to see some ponding on the roads, and it's just not something you want to be in. So now, Fred, so it's about 12 miles, so way less even than what I thought. So possibly two tornadoes on the ground, only 12 miles apart. That shows how unstable, how juicy and ripe the atmosphere is right now. Doesn't take much for these spin-ups to happen. Thankfully, this one is out of our viewing area, the one to the south, but still pretty amazing to see. But it's close, and it actually could clip part of our viewing area. So Jasper County, this may even be extended to include southwestern portions of Jasper County, depending on this storm here and possible rotation. And again, this is just what we're seeing right here.
Right.
You know, oh, and so there's a warning with it right there, just like that.
Coming out of Monroe County. Looks like most of it's going to go into Jones County, but definitely need to watch the southern part of Jasper County, Jen, because that rotation, thankfully, in the last frame here, the most recent frame, doesn't look as impressive as it once did. We still have that tornado warning in effect in Jasper County for another 4 minutes, but we are watching also the southern part of that cell because we are seeing, as you can see here, this is in Jones County. Let me just quickly get rid of that. We are seeing some really, really intense radar returns down there. So very close to the southern part of Jasper County. But the tornado warned storm is right in here with all this lightning showing up, as you can see, between Monticello and Gateville and Hillsborough. And that is moving to the east. That warning is set to expire in 3 minutes. I'm going to check
and
here.
And it looks like they actually have expired the tornado warning for Jasper County.
They did.
So we're watching this. I mean, we're still seeing some rotation. It's not as strong as it was earlier.
Good news.
But definitely good news. We like to see weakening when they allow this to expire. That's great news as well. This was supposed to go till 2, but it looks like they're going to allow this to expire. What I think will happen, if it is not another tornado warning, if it continues to show signs of weakening, most likely this will still be a severe thunderstorm warning going into Putnam County. So I believe that this will continue to be strong. It's severe, possibly severe, could see some 60-mile-an-hour winds. It has to meet certain parameters in order to be a severe thunderstorm. Winds have to be 58 miles an hour or higher. Hail has to be a certain size. So that's why some storms, although they're incredibly strong, may not be classified as severe. When you get that severe thunderstorm warning, that is a much stronger storm. For example, Atlanta, right now through Gwinnett County, through northern portions of Rockdale County into Gwinnett County, we're seeing incredibly heavy rain. We're seeing gusty winds, we're seeing lightning, but these are below severe limits. Are they strong? Absolutely. Do you want to be out in this? Absolutely not, but they are not classified severe. But this is dangerous here in that we're getting so much rain. In fact, Fred, let's see how much rain we're getting with these storms, the rainfall rate. We can do radar estimated rainfall rate. Basically, if the storm was sitting over the same area for an hour, how much rain it would be. Now, obviously, these are moving. They're not staying over the same area for an hour. But again, we're seeing about 1 to 2 inches of rain per hour. So if it were to be over the same area, that's pretty high. I've seen much higher, but because we've already seen so much rain, because we're already seeing ponding on the roadways and we're seeing additional rain, this is going to be a problem tonight, especially tomorrow as we get additional rain. So good news, again, the tornado warning for Jasper County has expired. So Jasper County looking much better as that storm continues to weaken. But you've seen how quickly these storms have been developing. They've been happening very fast. So we are dissecting the radar. You've got 3 meteorologists here. We're going to watch it closely. Of course, if we see any additional rotation, we are going to let you know. But what you need to know, you need to stay inside today as much as possible. Try to avoid going on the roadways. Flash flood warning is in effect for almost all of Metro Atlanta because of all the heavy rain we already had. And we have additional heavy rain. Again, we're continuing to see these storms move over the same areas, and right now just pouring down rain all the way from Athens, Clark, Oconee County into Gwinnett County, DeKalb County. And again, we're seeing that pouring down rain in Jasper and Putnam County, as well as what was a tornado warning is going to be allowed to expire at 2 o'clock as that continues to move east towards Putnam County. Right now, Putnam not under any kind of warning, but you have a very strong thunderstorm heading in your direction. And there you see it, that red box is gone. So things are looking much better. Fred, let's get one more look. Before I get off the air, I want to make sure that we're not seeing any rotation with this storm here in Jasper County.
Okay, let's head back down
so let's
there.
head back down
also
there
want to
and
let you know that many places have already seen about 2.5 inches of rain so far today in the Atlanta metro area, particularly just north of I-20, so like Douglas County area, up in the Cedartown area, parts of Cobb County have seen more than a couple of inches of rain. So definitely on the watch for some flash flooding as we get in a little bit closer on this storm that is south of our area. So now most of this is in Jones County, which is outside of our viewing area, right, Jen?
Right, correct. It is.
Okay, so
yes.
just outside of our viewing area, and let's just check on the rotation there. So it's not super impressive right now. It is a severe thunderstorm warning that we have for that area, southern part of Jasper County too. Again, the potential for some strong winds with it. We'll continue to keep an eye on it. It's going to be an active afternoon, so
yeah.
You may see us again at some point.
You probably will see us again. And at the very least, we will be back at 4 o'clock on CBS 46. Also, we're going to be with you 24/7 on Facebook. So check out our Facebook page and also on CBS46.com. Everyone, keep your phones and your devices close and stay with us here at CBS 46. We're going to be here with you to get you through this with more severe weather possible later today. Have a great day.
Hello.
Rodney.
Jennifer, are we still on? Jennifer.
I know, right?
Yeah, we got to get your show loaded and Ella's.
Okay, and I need to actually, because I use the chat on that computer, but I didn't want to mess up what Rodney was doing.
I haven't eaten.